The case of Danielle Redlick. Fatal self-defense or a cold-blooded murder? Born in 1976 in sunny Florida, Danielle's early life was shaped by her parents' separation. Despite this, she was enveloped in the warmth of a loving and secure home. Her learning journey led her to the University of Central Florida, where she graduated with a Bachelor of Arts in Interdisciplinary Studies, majoring in communication. Not stopping there, she also delved into psychology and earned a certification in photography. Danielle was widely recognized for her intelligence and ambition. At the age of 22, a significant change came into her life when her mother, Kathleen, met Michael Redlick, affectionately known as Red due to his last name. Michael's radiant smile and even bigger heart captured Kathleen's affection. His generosity and kindness drew her in, and their relationship blossomed into a harmonious and supportive partnership. Though they never married in the traditional sense, Michael seamlessly filled the roles of father and husband within Kathleen's family. He cherished being a stepfather to Kathleen's children, as he had no children of his own. Danielle's stepfather, Michael, was a successful lawyer and businessman before meeting her mother. When Kathleen was diagnosed with advanced breast cancer in 1997, the family faced a devastating situation. With no financial means to cover her treatment, Michael made the decision to marry Kathleen so that she could benefit from his healthcare coverage. This decision was made in the hopes of providing Kathleen with access to the necessary treatment. Despite their efforts, Kathleen's cancer had progressed to stage 4, and she tragically passed away just months after their marriage. Danielle was devastated by the loss of her mother and worried about her younger siblings. Then, Michael invited Danielle to move into his house to help care for her siblings. As she settled in, their relationship evolved from a fatherly bond to a romantic and sexual one. Michael supported Danielle emotionally and professionally, guiding her through her career and introducing her to his business contacts. Their relationship deepened as he took her to events, bought her gifts, and helped her secure her first professional job. Danielle, experiencing her first long-term relationship, believed she was in love, but knew her friends and family would struggle to accept them as a couple. They kept their relationship private to avoid public criticism. After securing a position as the executive vice president of the NBA's Memphis Grizzlies, Michael had to move from Cleveland to Memphis. When he asked Danielle to move with him, she declined out of fear that her family would discover their relationship. Instead, Danielle supported Michael's move and decided to visit him frequently. During one visit, Michael surprised Danielle by showing her a beautiful home he had bought for them in Memphis. Flattered, Danielle decided to move to Memphis to be with him. Despite the unusual circumstances of their relationship, they enjoyed their time together. However, Danielle's sisters struggled to accept the relationship, while others were shocked but had little to say. Once in Memphis, Danielle and Michael decided to formalize their relationship, marrying in the early 2000s. Despite facing criticism from friends and family, they presented themselves as a loving couple, determined to prove the cynics wrong. Their relationship, however, was far from perfect. Danielle, new to long-term relationships, found herself in a dynamic where Michael, 21 years her senior, maintained a position of seniority. The couple had 2 children, Jaden and Sawyer. Michael was a hands-on father, balancing his professional role with supporting his children. Danielle noticed Michael becoming less romantic and less available as the children reached high school. Suspecting infidelity, Danielle confronted Michael, who admitted to cheating on her. Despite the betrayal, Danielle wanted to provide a stable home for her children, unlike her own upbringing. She decided to stay with Michael and work through their problems. Thus, the couple lived in a tense relationship for over 17 years, until a fateful day on January 11th, 2019. The day after the fatal altercation, Danielle frantically called 911 to report a tragedy at her home, claiming her husband might have had a heart attack, according to the detective's arrest affidavit. Danielle alleged that after a fight over flirtatious text messages she had exchanged with another man, Michael tried to choke and suffocate her. During the argument, he snatched her McDonald's Quarter Pounder, took a bite, and spat it in her face. She said she grabbed a kitchen knife in self-defense, but Michael seized it and stabbed himself. Terrified, Danielle barricaded herself in the bathroom, listening to her husband's agonizing moans. When she finally checked on him, he was out of it, and she slipped on his blood. Fearing she'd be sent back to jail because she was on probation, she didn't call the police immediately. A year earlier, she had been arrested for drunkenly attacking sheriff's deputies. Danielle allegedly attempted to clean the gruesome crime scene. When police arrived, the smell of bleach was overpowering, and they found blood-soaked towels and a bucket of pink liquid. Danielle claimed she was exhausted and fell asleep. The couple's children were not home during the incident. She stated that she discovered him outside in the living room, severely injured, according to the police. Danielle reportedly asserted that she attempted to administer CPR to save him. She was unable to locate her phone to call for help and ended up collapsing from exhaustion next to Redlick. Suspense deepened when it was revealed that about 2 hours before calling the police, Danielle had been active on the dating app Meet Mindful, reviewing her messages. Before dialing 911, she superficially slit her wrists, but the wounds had stopped bleeding by the time officers arrived. The medical examiner found no signs of a heart attack. The couple had recently reconciled after living apart. In a chilling twist, Michael had emailed a friend before his death, stating, "My family is scheduled to move here in December, unless Danielle kills or divorces my ass." Neither is beyond possibility. As the investigation progressed, Danielle's story shifted dramatically. Evidence from her crime scene contradicted her initial claims. 11 hours after calling 911 to report her husband's stabbing, as mentioned, police discovered she had been active on a dating app in the interim. The house was a gruesome sight. Red streaks marred the floors, and blood splatters adorned the walls of the kitchen, living room, and master bedroom. Prosecutors noted signs of an attempted cleanup, finding bloody towels, a mop, and a bucket. A bloody knife laying on the floor, with 2 more in the sink. An autopsy revealed Michael Redlick died from a stab wound in the torso that severed the ballistic vein, causing him to bleed out in 5 to 6 minutes. During an interview at an Orlando hospital, Danielle avoided detailing the night of the incident, but admitted that they argued over a text from another man. "He found a text from another man to me," she confessed to Winter Park Police on January 12, 2019. She mentioned past issues, including Michael's infidelity, which had strained their reconciliation. State prosecutor Sean Wiggins painted a grim picture of the crime scene to the jury, describing it as a horror scene. He asserted that Danielle did everything to avoid taking responsibility for her actions. In stark contrast, public defender Andrew Parnell argued that Michael had been abusive, citing his insecurities about his age and erectile dysfunction, which led to violent outbursts. He recounted harrowing incidents where Michael allegedly hit, choked, and smothered Danielle, making her fear for her life. Parnell described a chilling scene. Danielle, trapped and pinned down in the kitchen, believed she was about to die at the hands of her husband. This portrayal aimed to elicit sympathy from the jury, suggesting that Danielle's actions were a desperate response to years of abuse. Winter Park Police interviewed over 30 people, revealing a turbulent marriage between Danielle and Michael. These audio recordings, released by the state attorney's office, painted a grim picture. Nearly everyone had a story about Danielle's aggressive behavior, including screaming profanities at a Little League game. Her son wasn't invited back after another kid made a bad throw, showing her volatile nature. Dark allegations also emerged. Many in their social circle feared Danielle would hurt him. Michael's friend Kevin, who knew him from the sports industry, spoke to police on the day of Michael's funeral. He recalled a chilling conversation where he asked Michael about his wife. Michael's ominous response was, "As long as I can lock up the knives, I'm okay." This revelation cast a sinister light on their already troubled relationship, hinting at underlying fear and danger. On the other hand, Danielle claimed something completely opposite. Danielle initially painted a rosy picture of their early years, but revealed Michael's abusive tendencies surfaced early and worsened over the last decade. The first instance of abuse occurred after an Ohio concert, where a jealous Michael slapped her for quipping, "At least he isn't Jewish and cheap," about her ex-boyfriend. This incident marked the beginning of years of sporadic physical abuse, even after their 2 children were born. Despite this, Danielle stayed, believing there was still a lot of good in their relationship, and that Michael loved her. The abuse escalated as Michael aged and struggled with erectile dysfunction. When Viagra stopped working, he began testosterone shots, which made him stronger but more abusive. Both Danielle and Michael were unfaithful, moving in and out of their home multiple times. In 2018, Danielle filed for divorce, but helped Michael avoid receiving the papers. One afternoon, Michael professed his love for Danielle, saying he didn't want to be with any other woman. However, years of dysfunction, infidelity, and abuse culminated in the fatal night of the stabbing. Danielle, heartbroken by the outcome, testified that she didn't feel she overreacted, believing her life was in danger when she stabbed her husband. Danielle and Michael's turbulent relationship had a history of police intervention long before they moved to Florida. Michael, a sports business executive, and Danielle had numerous violent disputes. A 2001 sports report from Bay Village, Ohio, detailed one such event. Michael, intoxicated, had his face covered in bloody scratch marks, while a crying Danielle was bleeding from her mouth and knuckles, also appearing very drunk. Danielle claimed Michael struck her while driving home from an AC/DC concert after an argument about past issues, and she fought back in self-defense. Both were arrested for domestic violence due to their injuries. An unexpected twist emerged when police contacted Danielle's stepfather, Robert, who was shocked to learn of their romantic relationship. He was believed Michael was her stepfather, not her boyfriend. Neither Danielle nor Michael commented on this claim. The Winter Park police found ample evidence of marital strife when investigating Michael's death. Michael had considered divorce, as shown by a handwritten note calculating attorney costs and child support. Danielle had actually filed for divorce in March 2018, claiming their marriage was irretrievably broken, enlisting over $9,000 in monthly expenses. Her petition was dismissed. The investigation now had to answer two main questions. Was Danielle a cold-hearted wife who wanted to end her marriage? Or was Danielle a terrified woman caught in the midst of an abusive relationship, forced to defend herself? In August 2022, the day of the final verdict, Danielle's attorney, Andrew Parnell, addressed the jury, painting a chilling picture of Michael's control and violence. Michael saw his former stepdaughter, Danielle, as his possession, wielding authority over her. Whenever he felt insecure or frustrated, he lashed out violently. On January 11, 2019, this bottle rage exploded. Parnell recounted how that night, Danielle believed Michael was going to kill her in their kitchen. Michael, enraged by her online communication with another man, had her pinned against the kitchen island, suffocating her. He reminded the jury that Michael had a blood alcohol content of 0.09, indicating his volatile state. The attorney dramatized the harrowing moments. Danielle, desperate and terrified, stabbed Michael once in the shoulder to escape. She ran to the bathroom, hearing him collapse. When she emerged, she found him motionless on the floor. In a panic, she attempted CPR, but couldn't find her phone to call 911 immediately. Parnell emphasized that trauma affects people differently. Danielle was in shock, her actions driven by sheer panic. He argued that if Danielle intended to kill Michael, she would have acted differently. She didn't stab him multiple times, hide the knife, dispose of the body, or flee the scene. Instead, she stayed, paralyzed by the sudden end of her tumultuous marriage. During the 11 hours before she finally called 911, Danielle's actions reflected shock and confusion, not guilt. She didn't attempt to cover up the incident or remove the evidence. Her behavior showed someone unable to process the horror before her. As the jury deliberated, the weight of Danielle's trauma and Michael's aggressive behavior loomed large. They had to decide if she was guilty of second-degree murder or the lesser charge of manslaughter, indicating she killed Michael without premeditation. After 4 hours of deliberation over 2 days, the courtroom held its breath as the verdict was read. Danielle closed her eyes, bracing for the outcome. The state of Florida versus Danielle Justine. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty. Danielle's fate was sealed with those words. The dramatic conclusion highlighted the jury's belief in her lack of intent to kill, acknowledging the nightmare of that night and her frantic, desperate response. However, Danielle was found responsible for her actions following a fatal incident, with the jury convicting her of tampering with evidence. This included attempting to clean up the blood and moving the body. As a result, she was sentenced to serve 364 days behind bars. But due to time already served, she would serve 12 months of probation. After serving 3 years in prison, She was released from the Orange County Jail on August 5th, 2022. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and feel free to share your thoughts on the case in the comments section below. See you next time.